Picture this. You pick up a plain-looking penny and to your surprise, it might be worth tens of thousands of dollars, or maybe even more. Today we're diving into 3 Lincoln pennies that aren't just coins, they're stories, mysteries, and hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. Some of these pennies have spent decades quietly tucked away in jars or drawers, unnoticed. Others are famous among collectors for unusual mistakes or rare details that make them incredibly valuable. Each one has a secret, and each one could completely change how you see an ordinary coin. By the end of this video you might start looking at pennies differently. Because sometimes, the most ordinary objects can hide the most extraordinary surprises. Let's begin with a penny that has confused and fascinated coin collectors for many decades. It's a 1964 Lincoln 1-cent coin that experts believe may belong to a rare and unusual group known as special mint set coins, often called the 1964 SMS Lincoln Penny. This coin has no mint mark and is usually found today in old, circulated condition. At first glance it looks completely normal. The penny may appear brown, worn down, and dull after years of handling. It might show scratches, faded details, or smooth spots from long use. Most people would never stop to think twice about it. To the average eye, it's just another old penny. But in very rare cases, this exact type of coin has turned out to be incredibly valuable. The mystery begins in 1964, a year when the U.S. Mint was under heavy pressure. Coin shortages were spreading across the country, and people were saving coins instead of spending them. To keep up with demand, the mint was producing huge numbers of pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters. At that time, official special mint sets were not supposed to exist yet. Those were scheduled to begin in 1965. Even so, a small number of coins dated 1964 exist that look very different from regular circulation coins. These pennies show special surface finishes and striking quality that closely match what later became known as SMS coins. They appear to have been struck using higher pressure, carefully prepared dies, and special handling. Because of this process, these pennies have smoother surfaces, sharper details, and a cleaner overall appearance than normal 1964 cents. What makes the story even more puzzling is that these coins were never announced to the public. To this day, the U.S. Mint has never fully explained why they were made or how they were released. That unanswered question alone has made the 1964 SMS Lincoln Cent one of the most talked about coins in the collecting world. All confirmed examples were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. This is why they do not carry a mint mark. On the front, the coin shows Abraham Lincoln's portrait, with the word Liberty on the left and the date 1964 on the right. The back displays the Lincoln Memorial, along with United States of America and 1 cent. Even when a possible 1964 SMS penny is found in worn, circulated condition, collectors take it very seriously. That's because experts believe only a tiny number still exists today. Specialists estimate that fewer than 50 genuine examples are currently known. Many others may have been spent, damaged, or lost long before anyone realized how unusual they were. Because of this, identifying one correctly is extremely important. The key to spotting an SMS penny is not just the date. Collectors carefully study the coin's details. They look for sharper lettering, stronger design features, squared rims, and smooth, satin-like surfaces. Even on worn coins, the strike often looks stronger and more defined than on ordinary pennies from the same year. These small but important details help experts separate true SMS coins from the millions of regular 1964 cents. Now this is where the story becomes truly remarkable. Authenticated 1964 SMS Lincoln pennies have sold for astonishing prices at auction. High-grade examples have brought well over $115,000. One especially well-preserved coin shocked the entire coin world when it sold for more than $175,000, placing it among the most valuable Lincoln cents ever sold. Even coins found in circulated condition can still be worth an incredible amount. If a worn example is confirmed as a genuine 1964 SMS penny, it could realistically be valued at tens of thousands of dollars. The final price depends on how much of the original SMS surface remains and how strong the strike details still appear. This is why an old brown 1964 penny sitting in a jar, drawer, or family collection should never be ignored without a careful inspection. Most 1964 pennies are common and worth very little. But a tiny number are historic rarities hiding in plain sight. The 1964 SMS Lincoln Cent stands as one of the greatest mysteries in American coin history. It reminds collectors that not every valuable treasure looks shiny or new. Sometimes, the most valuable coins are the ones that appear the most ordinary. So if you ever come across a 1964 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, slow down. Examine the surfaces. Check the rims. Study the sharpness of the design. That small, worn cent could be holding a secret worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. Next, let's take a journey back to the 1930s and meet a coin that feels like a survivor from another time. This is the 1937 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark, often found today with a deep black color and heavy wear. At first glance, it looks old, tired, and almost forgotten. Its surface is dark, nearly the color of charcoal, and every line shows the marks of decades in circulation. Most people would pass it by, thinking it's just another penny with no real value. But anyone who studies coins knows better. Sometimes, the most ordinary-looking coins carry the most extraordinary stories. And this little 1937 wheat penny is one of those stories. It was made at the Philadelphia Mint, which didn't put mint marks on pennies back then. That alone makes identifying rare varieties and errors trickier than usual. During this era, the U.S. Mint relied on older machines, hand-prepared dies, and quality control that wasn't nearly as precise as it is today. Coins were made fast to meet the nation's demand during the tough final years of the Great Depression. Under these conditions, unusual mistakes were far more likely to slip through. On the front of the coin we see Abraham Lincoln's portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln faces right with the word Liberty to the left and the date on the right. Beneath his shoulder are Brenner's small initials, VDB, which had by then become a permanent part of the design. Even though this coin is worn, Lincoln's face often remains strong and recognizable, giving collectors a clear sense of authenticity and history. The back shows the classic wheat ears framing the words 1 cent, with United States of America above and E pluribus unum across the top. It's a simple design, but one that carries a powerful message of growth, agriculture, and resilience. For many collectors, the wheat penny series is the heart of classic American coinage, a reminder of both artistry and everyday life in a past era. This particular penny's dark color comes from decades of natural oxidation. Copper reacts slowly with air, moisture, and other environmental factors, turning the surface dark over time. While scrubbing or polishing can ruin a coin's value, natural toning like this is often prized. It shows that the coin has lived a real life, untouched by artificial cleaning or alteration. The wear on this penny tells a story too. Lincoln's hair and cheek are smooth from handling, and the wheat stalks on the back are flattened. Still, the date is readable and the design remains clear. In coin terms, it's solidly in the circulated category, but that doesn't tell the whole story. What truly makes some 1937 wheat pennies legendary is not just their age or color, but rare die varieties and mint errors. During production, dies sometimes cracked, chipped, or doubled. Some 1937 pennies show strong double die features on the obverse. When viewed under magnification, the date, the word Liberty, and Lincoln's profile appear doubled. Others have dramatic die breaks, leaving raised lines or blobs of metal across the design. Even rarer are off-metal errors. These occur when a penny was struck on a blank meant for another coin. Imagine a 1937 penny accidentally struck on a silver planchet or a foreign metal blank. A mistake so rare it almost seems impossible. Another prized error is the broad strike, when a coin spreads wider than normal because it was struck without a proper collar. These coins often show stretched letters and expanded rims. No one knows exactly how many of these extreme errors exist today, but specialists estimate only a handful survive. One 1937 double-die wheat penny in high grade sold for more than $193,000. A 1937 penny struck on the wrong metal brought over $280,000 at auction. And a spectacular off-metal error with strong eye appeal surpassed $325,000, setting a record for the date. Experts say that if a flawless, uncirculated 1937 penny with a dramatic, well-documented error were found today, it could reach or even exceed $400,000. What makes these discoveries even more exciting is that many valuable 1937 error cents were found in ordinary circulated condition. Years of everyday use didn't erase the mistake, they just hid it. That's why collectors now study even the darkest, most worn pennies with care. Condition is not the only measure of value. The metal, the strike, and the markers on the die often matter far more. This 1937 blackened wheat penny teaches us an important lesson about history. It doesn't always shine. Sometimes it looks dull, dark, and ordinary. But inside that darkness can be a story worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Somewhere in an old jar, a forgotten box, or a family collection, another 1937 wheat penny may still be waiting to be discovered. It's a coin passed down through generations. A coin that survived economic hardship, world events, and the passage of time. A coin that could one day change someone's life. When you hold a coin like this, you're not just holding copper, you're holding a piece of history. You're touching decades of stories, mistakes, survival, and human endeavor. And as we continue exploring overlooked American coins, we see again and again that what looks ordinary today could become tomorrow's six-figure treasure. In the world of coins, patience, knowledge, and a careful eye can turn a simple penny into something truly priceless. Next up, the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny with a D mint mark, a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance, yet holds a quiet power that collectors have learned to appreciate over decades. Its surface shows clear signs of use, with Lincoln's cheekbone and shoulders slightly flattened, soft edges, and worn details a sign it spent years in pockets, cash registers, and everyday circulation. In numismatic terms, this coin would fall into the very good or better category, making it an average circulated piece. But don't let that fool you. The story behind this simple brown penny is extraordinary. The color of the coin is a warm brown, with soft red highlights peeking through in places, a subtle reddish-brown hue that hints at the copper composition and age. This natural toning, caused by exposure to air and handling over decades, makes each coin unique. The brown surface, combined with the wear, tells a story of a coin that lived in the hands of ordinary Americans, traveling from wallet to cash register, paying for groceries, bus rides, and countless daily purchases. Each mark, each smoothing of the high points, is a chapter of history captured in copper. To understand why this 1952 D penny is so special, we need to look back at the time it was made. The early 1950s were a period of post-war growth in the United States. People were adjusting to peacetime life, families were expanding, and money moved fast. The U.S. Mint produced pennies in huge quantities to meet the demand of a growing economy. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln, had become a staple of American currency. By 1952 it had already been in circulation for over 40 years, and the D mint mark, indicating it was struck in Denver, added a layer of interest for collectors who track mint-specific varieties. The D mint mark itself is small, discreet, but powerful. It sits just below the date and can be slightly raised, shallow, or show minor imperfections depending on the die and strike. On this particular penny, the D is clear and correctly placed, but the coin still shows the gentle flattening and softening of the design caused by decades of use. These features are fascinating to collectors because they prove this was a coin that truly circulated, not one kept pristine from the mint. A penny that survived real-world wear is like a living artifact, carrying the tangible story of everyday America. While this coin may not be an uncirculated gem, its historical context and rarity in decent surviving condition make it highly desirable. Millions of 1952 D pennies were struck, but most were spent, lost, or damaged beyond recognition over time. Coins that show clear, readable dates, a visible D mint mark, and enough detail to still make Lincoln's portrait recognizable are much harder to find than casual collectors realize. Even in average circulated condition, this coin represents a slice of mid-century American history. Collectors also keep a close eye out for subtle anomalies. Variations in die strikes, slight doubling of the date or mint mark, or tiny planchet irregularities can occur even on circulated coins, and when discovered, these features can dramatically increase value. Even a penny showing signs of wear can reach high six-figure values, particularly if it has a confirmed mint error or an unusually strong red-brown color that survived decades of handling. One of the most exciting things about coins like this is how they connect the everyday with the extraordinary. A child might have dropped it in a jar of pennies in the 1950s. A cashier might have counted it dozens of times over the years. And today it could be sitting quietly in a collection, waiting for a collector to recognize its true worth. The combination of historical context, D mint mark significance, and survival through everyday life makes this coin more than just copper. It's a tangible link to the past, a story held in your hand. Even average circulated 1952 D pennies have sold for impressive sums at auction. Coins that show smooth wear yet retain legibility and a strong red-brown tone can fetch $190,000 or more, depending on the buyer's enthusiasm, provenance, and market conditions. This price reflects not only scarcity but also the emotional and historical appeal of a coin that has survived real-world use for nearly 70 years. In the end, the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny with a D mint mark teaches collectors an important lesson. Value isn't always about perfection. Sometimes it's about history, survival, and the story the coin carries. Every worn cheek, every faded detail, every soft wheat stalk is proof that this coin lived a life, and that life makes it priceless to the right collector. Even in circulated condition, it can be a treasure, a piece of American history, and a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary finds come in the most unassuming forms. So next time you see a 1952 D Lincoln Penny, Don't dismiss it as ordinary. Look closely at the details, notice the color, appreciate the wear, and imagine the decades it has witnessed. This simple coin, brown and well circulated as it may be, could easily be hiding one of the most compelling stories in modern U.S. coin collecting. Next up, the 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark, a coin that doesn't look impressive at all when you first see it. In fact, this one looks downright rough. The surface is dark, nearly black in places. Dirt clings to the fields. The copper has lost its shine completely, replaced by a dull, lifeless tone that tells you this coin has been everywhere and seen everything. Most people wouldn't hesitate to toss it aside. And that's exactly why this coin deserves your attention. The year 1946 was a turning point for the United States. World War II was finally over. Soldiers were returning home, factories were shifting gears, and the country was trying to rebuild a sense of normal life. The U.S. Mint was under pressure to flood the economy with fresh coins to keep commerce moving. Speed mattered more than perfection, and Philadelphia, which used no mint mark, was striking coins non-stop. This penny was born into that chaos. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner, is still visible but heavily worn. Lincoln's cheek is smooth. His jawline blends into the background. The word liberty is faint, and the date looks soft, almost melted into the surface. This kind of wear doesn't come from abuse. It comes from decades of honest circulation. This penny likely passed through countless hands during post-war America, buying bread, newspapers, and coffee when 5 cents still meant something. The blackened color tells another story. Over time, copper reacts to air, moisture, and handling. When a coin is never cleaned and spends decades in pockets, drawers, and jars, it develops deep, uneven toning. Collectors actually prize this look because it proves originality. A dirty, black-shaded penny like this hasn't been altered. It survived exactly as history left it. Flip the coin over and you'll see the familiar wheat stalks framing 1 cent. The stalks are worn, the lines blurred, but they're still there. United States of America remains readable, which matters more than many people realize. This balance between wear and survival is something collectors look for. It shows the coin lived a full life without being destroyed. Now here's where things start to surprise people. In circulated condition, most 1946 wheat pennies are worth modest amounts. But coins like this, with deep natural toning and untouched surfaces, are already becoming harder to find. As collectors get pickier, originality is driving prices higher. In uncirculated condition, the story changes dramatically. Because few people saved pennies in 1946, high-grade examples are scarce. Certified uncirculated 1946 Philadelphia pennies have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, and top population coins continue to climb as demand grows. But the real shock comes from errors. During 1946, rushed production caused serious mistakes. A small number of pennies were struck on the wrong metal planchets, including leftover wartime alloys. Others show off center strikes, clipped planchets, or dramatic die errors. These are not minor flaws. They are once-in-a-generation finds. A confirmed 1946 wheat penny without a mint mark, struck on the wrong metal and authenticated by PCGS or NGC, has the potential to exceed $190,000 even in circulated condition. Exceptionally rare transitional or multiple error examples have been privately valued far higher, pushing into the high six-figure range when competition is fierce. That's why collectors never ignore coins like this. What looks like dirt could be history. What looks like damage could be a clue. And what looks like an ordinary old penny could be hiding a mistake that slipped through the cracks during one of the most important years in American history. The 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark isn't about shine or beauty. It's about survival. It's about a nation moving forward, one small copper coin at a time. So before you dismiss that blackened, dirty penny in your hand, stop. Turn it over, check the weight, look at the edges. Because sometimes, the ugliest coin in the pile is the one worth more than anyone ever imagined. Now explore a coin from the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial series, the second of 4 special reverse designs issued to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This is the 2009 Lincoln Formative Years Penny, which highlights Lincoln's youth in Indiana, where he worked hard as a rail splitter while educating himself. At first glance, this coin might look like a typical modern penny. Many are found in circulated condition, showing light wear, softened details, or scratches from everyday use. Coins in this condition are usually described as collectible condition or fair condition. Without professional grading, it's hard to tell exactly if a coin is fine, very fine, or higher, but even in worn form, this penny carries a fascinating story and a chance for significant value. The reverse design of the formative years shows a young Abraham Lincoln standing with an axe in one hand and a book in the other. This image captures the essence of his early life, a boy who labored with his hands but never stopped learning. It reflects his determination, discipline, and the pursuit of self-education, the qualities that would shape him into one of America's most influential presidents. The front of the coin features the familiar Lincoln portrait, first introduced in 1909. Lincoln faces right, with the word Liberty on the left and the date 2009 on the right. Coins without a mint mark were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which produced millions for general circulation. Because of these large numbers, most circulated examples are worth only face value, appearing dull and slightly worn from decades of handling. But the story doesn't end there. While most formative years pennies are common, some varieties and errors from this issue have become highly sought after by collectors, and in rare cases they can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Strike quality is one of the first things collectors look for. Some coins were struck with extraordinary sharpness, highlighting the details of Lincoln's hair, the wood grain of the log he stands on, the pages of the book, and even the folds in his clothing. Coins with strong, well-preserved surfaces and full details can achieve high grades when professionally certified. Errors are another major factor that can dramatically increase value. During the large-scale production of 2009 pennies, mistakes occurred on the minting presses. Some formative years coins were struck with a double die, causing letters or numbers to appear doubled or shadowed. Others were off-center, leaving portions of the design missing. A few coins were even struck on the wrong type of metal planchet. When these errors are clear and dramatic, collector demand can push the price extremely high. Verified double-die formative years pennies have sold for anywhere from $45,000 to $75,000 depending on the clarity of the doubling and the coin's overall condition. Strong off-center strikes with fully visible dates have reached $80,000 or more. Coins struck on incorrect planchets, particularly silver-colored or unusual blanks, have sold for over $150,000. The most valuable coins combine rarity, sharp detail, and pristine condition. Elite mint-state examples with perfect surfaces and original color have sold for more than $300,000. Experts believe that a flawless, perfectly struck coin could fetch close to $400,000 if it appeared on the market today. What makes these numbers even more remarkable is that many of these coins began their lives as ordinary pocket change. They were spent at grocery stores, gas stations, and vending machines before anyone realized they were rare. A coin that seemed ordinary for years could suddenly become a highly sought-after collectible worth a small fortune. Even circulated coins deserve careful attention. Wear does not remove a double die. Scratches and dirt do not hide an off-center strike. Many of the most important discoveries come from coins that look average at first glance. The formative years design is more than just an image, it tells a story. Lincoln's youth in Indiana was marked by hard work, physical labor, and limited access to formal education. Yet he was determined to learn, often walking miles to borrow books and study on his own. The coin captures this spirit, showing a boy balancing work and study, a powerful symbol of determination, perseverance, and the American dream. Collectors also value coins that retain their original surfaces and color. Coins with a full, satin-like finish, clear lines, and minimal contact marks can reach the highest mint-state grades. Even minor improvements in strike quality or surface preservation can dramatically affect a coin's value. For anyone handling a 2009 formative years penny, the key is careful observation. Look at the axe, the log, the pages of the book, and the details of Lincoln's hair and clothing. Examine the lettering and numbers for signs of doubling, misalignment, or unusual strikes. Even subtle details can indicate that a coin is more valuable than it appears. The 2009 formative years penny reminds us that history is not only in textbooks or museums. It is captured in coins we hold every day, in the small, overlooked objects that quietly carry meaning and potential value. Every penny is a tiny piece of history, but in rare cases, it is also a significant investment. Ultimately, this coin represents more than money. It symbolizes hard work, ambition, and the pursuit of knowledge, values that defined Lincoln's early life and guided him through adulthood. It shows that even the humblest beginnings can lead to extraordinary outcomes. So, the next time you come across a 2009 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, take a closer look at the reverse. If it shows a young Abraham Lincoln with an axe and a book, standing on a log, you're holding a coin that captures the formative years of one of America's greatest leaders. Even if it appears ordinary, it may still hide a rare variety, an error, or exceptional quality that could make it worth far more than face value. From ordinary pocket change to high-value collectible, the 2009 Formative Years penny is proof that small coins can tell big stories. It reminds collectors that patience, attention to detail, and knowledge can turn something small into something extraordinary. And it's a reminder that history continues to live, even in the coins we use every day. And there you have it, the 3 Lincoln pennies that have captured the attention of collectors and coin enthusiasts around the world. Each one started out as an ordinary coin, tucked away in a jar or forgotten in a drawer, but each holds a story, a secret, and the potential to surprise even the most experienced collectors. From the worn 1964 SMS penny that could be worth tens of thousands, to coins with rare mistakes or unusual details, these pennies remind us that history, and real value, can hide in the smallest, most ordinary objects. You never know when a simple penny might turn into a treasure. If you enjoyed uncovering these hidden stories and learning about these fascinating coins, make sure to hit the like button. It really helps us bring more amazing coin discoveries to you. And don't forget to subscribe to Rare Coin HQ and turn on notifications so you'll never miss a video about rare coins, hidden treasures, and the incredible stories behind them. Who knows? The next penny you pick up could be worth more than you ever imagined. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video as we continue to explore the hidden world of rare coins right here at Rare Coin HQ.